Hello, everybody. Welcome. So today's session is on toward a diverse workforce in scholarly publishing. And I view this discussion today as an extension of the conversation that's been going on at SSP over the past couple of years on gender and diversity. And I want to give a shout out to Alice Meadows. I don't think she's here. Just to thank her for all of her hard work and efforts, because if it wasn't for her laying the groundwork for SSP to address gender inequality and diversity, I think it would be more difficult to get this panel discussion together. It was actually, in fact, at Alice's panel last year at Vancouver that I was beginning thinking about this topic. She and her co-speakers were talking about gender, about being women in scholarly publishing, and I looked around the room. There were all women in there, but I was the only woman of color. Now, I'm used to that. I've been in scholarly publishing for 20 years, and I'm used to going to conferences, and if I do see a person of color, I'm chasing them down. I've done this before. I chased this poor woman down at a Charleston conference, frightened her, because I was so happy to see her. Or I'm smiling derangedly at somebody. But at this particular conference, because there was so much discussion about diversity, and I was surrounded by, there wasn't anybody that looked like me. I said, we need to talk about, extend the conversation a bit more. Well, rather than me just sitting up here and just saying, well, it's only me, I thought, well, let's bring in some publishing professionals who are actively recruiting diverse people beyond gender. And I'm so happy that my esteemed colleagues here agreed to share their experiences being recruiters and a recruitee for diversity initiatives. So I'm going to have all of them do their thing first, and then we'll have questions afterwards. Okay? So when you do have questions, I've been told to instruct everybody to please use the mic. And Charles brings kind of a fresh perspective to recruiting and scholarly publishing, because prior to OUP, he worked in the investment banking industry. And finally, last but not least, my friend Gita Maliktala, who is the editorial director of MIT Press, and Jesus Hernandez, who's the assistant editor at MIT Press, will be sharing their experience with the Mellon-funded, make sure I get this right, University Press Diversity Fellowship Program. So Jesus, in fact, is the inaugural fellow of this program. So he's going to talk about his experience. Was putting you on the spot here, being a recruitee. So I'm excited. So Helen, why don't you start?